The turquoise waters of the Arabian Sea, usually a vibrant spectacle off the coast of Sind, churned with an unusual restlessness. The fishermen of the ancient village of Jari had noticed it first. Strange currents, unpredictable tides, and a persistent low rumble that vibrated through the hulls of their boats. But it was the shrinking of their ancestral home, the island of Menorah, that sent a chill of dread through their hearts. Menorah, a small crescent-shaped island that had sheltered their families for centuries, was vanishing. The relentless erosion, exacerbated by rising sea levels and increasingly violent storms, was claiming their beaches, their homes, and their very future. Each high tide seemed to swallow another piece of their beloved island, the crumbling coastline a stark testament to their impending displacement. Among the islanders was a young fisherman named Foiz. Unlike some who succumbed to despair, Foiz possessed an unwavering spirit and a deep connection to his island. He had grown up listening to the tales of his elders, stories of brave seafarers, bountiful harvests, and the enduring spirit of Menorah. He refused to let his home simply fade beneath the waves. One evening, as the villagers gathered around crackling bonfires on the shrinking beach, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames and etched with worry, an old storyteller named Bibi Fatima shared a forgotten legend. She spoke of the tide stone, a mythical artifact said to hold sway over the ocean's moods, a relic that had once protected Menorah from the very forces now threatening to consume it. Legend had it that the tide stone was hidden on a distant, uncharted islet, a place whispered to exist beyond the treacherous currents and unpredictable squalls that plagued their waters. The villagers listened intently, a flicker of hope rekindling in their eyes. Foiz, his heart pounding with a sudden surge of determination, knew what he had to do. He would find the tide stone. The next morning, under a sky painted with the hues of dawn, Foiz prepared his small, sturdy fishing boat, Al-Nasim, the Breeze. He stocked it with provisions, dried fish, hardtack, and casks of fresh water. A few of the braver villagers offered to accompany him, their faces a mixture of fear and resolve. Among them was his childhood friend, a sharp-witted woman named Layla, whose knowledge of navigation, gleaned from her father's old charts, would prove invaluable. Their journey was fraught with peril. The currents were erratic, pulling their small boat in unpredictable directions. Violent squalls descended upon them without warning, testing their seamanship to its limits. They navigated by the stars, Layla's voice a steady guide amidst the howling winds. Days blurred into nights as they sailed further than any Jari fisherman had dared to venture before, following the vague descriptions from Bibi Fatima's legend and trusting their instincts. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they sighted a small, mist-shrouded islet on the horizon. It was unlike any land they had ever seen. Jagged volcanic rock formations jutted out of the sea, and the air hummed with an almost mystical energy. As they approached, they noticed strange symbols carved into the rocks, symbols that echoed those found on ancient fragments scattered across Menorah. Landing their boat on a narrow strip of black sand, Foiz, Layla, and the other villagers ventured onto the islet. The air was thick with the scent of salt and something else, a faint metallic tang. Following the cryptic clues from Bibi Fatima's tale, a rock shaped like a sleeping turtle, a natural archway facing the rising sun, they eventually found a hidden cave. Inside the cave, bathed in an ethereal glow that seemed to emanate from the very stone, lay the tide stone. It was not a grand, imposing artifact, but a smooth gray stone, intricately carved with swirling patterns that mirrored the ocean's currents. As Foiz reached out to touch it, a wave of energy pulsed through him, a feeling of deep connection to the sea. Their return journey to Menorah was surprisingly calm. The turbulent waters seemed to have quieted, the unpredictable squalls replaced by gentle breezes. As Al-Nasim approached their island, a collective gasp went through the villagers who had remained behind. The relentless erosion seemed to have paused. The waves that had been so voracious now lapped gently at the shore. Carrying the tide stone with reverence, Foiz and his companions were greeted with joyous cries. Following Bibi Fatima's instructions, they placed the tide stone on the highest point of the island, an ancient, weathered shrine that had long been battered by the elements. As the tide stone rested in its designated place, a palpable shift occurred. The low rumble that had plagued the island ceased. The strange currents subsided. A sense of peace settled over Menorah. Over the following months, the erosion slowed dramatically. New sandbars began to form, reclaiming some of the lost land. The island, though scarred, seemed to have found a new equilibrium. The tide stone, it seemed, had indeed answered their prayers, not by magically reversing the changes, but by restoring a natural balance, a harmony that had been disrupted. The villagers of Jari had faced the vanishing of their home and had chosen action over despair. They had embarked on a perilous journey, guided by a legend and fueled by their love for their island. They had discovered that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable forces, courage, ingenuity, and a deep connection to their heritage could offer a glimmer of hope and a chance to race against the tide of oblivion. The island of Menorah remained, a testament to their resilience and the enduring power of hope. Moral of the story: even when faced with seemingly irreversible challenges, hope, courage, and a willingness to act can lead to unexpected solutions. The strength to overcome adversity often lies within our heritage, our community, and our connection to the natural world. Sometimes, the answer is not to fight against the inevitable, but to find a way to restore balance and harmony.